That's you. That's you. Then you got me laughing.
I will go ahead and call this study session to order at 6:30 p.m. If we could all stand for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilmember Williams, Reed, Jackson. Here. Lawler, Davis.
Here.
French.
Here.
And Mayor Snyder.
Here. So as a reminder, if we don't have our microphones on, make sure that you have the green light in front of you.
Yours also.
And if you have cell phones, please make sure they're on silent or turned off. So study session is just to discuss the agenda items that are on the regular council meeting. So our first item is to approve the second reading of Ordinance 2022-06, which is disturbing the peace. Do we have any questions on that ordinance? So again, it's the second reading. Councilman Reed, are you okay with the microphone?
I finally got it.
Okay.
Kept popping back off.
The next item is our discussion on the resolution 2022-08 to designate the acting city manager, but that is a discussion, so I guess I want to know why this is on the agenda since we've already approved this.
For discussion, when everybody is here. For discussion, when everybody's here.
Okay.
Discussion, I have some, as I mentioned when I talked about it, I just have some concerns, and I just want to ask about the concerns. Yeah.
And then the last item is to approve the addendum to the city manager employment agreement. So it looked like the only thing that was changing was it that we were looking to allow you to roll over an additional 74 hours, is that correct?
No.
No?
So that 74 hours was approved by council last time. There was an addendum. Following the last addendum, finance seemed to take their own interpretation as the city manager not having any sick time. So what this does is it spells out clearly that the city manager has sick time. It shows what her bank was as of the date of the last agreement and indicates that she'll continue to accrue it the same way that other employees accrue it, consistently with the City of Albion employee handbook. That's the only change.
Okay, so it's just,
To give my sick time back
yeah,
or reinstate that balance.
because everybody else does accrue sick time, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do we have any questions on that, council members?
What was that last statement? I'm sorry. Because everybody does that?
Yeah, so per our employee handbook, just during a certain amount of times for your years of service, you accrue so many hours every pay period, which just falls in line with what we have in place. Difference with our employee handbook.
Okay.
I
So
think it's like 3.68 hours a pay period.
So does our handbook, does what you do in the handbook coincide with one another? And when I say that, meaning that that handbook, isn't that for union employees?
No,
It's
so the
not?
unions have individual union contracts, so that is spelled out for that. So for all non-union employees, we fall under the employee
Okay.
handbook. The union employees would fall if it's not addressed in their individual collective bargaining agreements.
Okay.
I have a question. So once these are accrued days are used, are you exhausting all of your days during your period of that, you're going to be out? Do you have any left, just in case there's a sickness or?
That's why we'll use my sick time, any available sick time, as well as I have vacation time available. So that has not been factored out. Assistant Manager Ridge, she's working with our, because I am eligible for short-term disability as well. So
Right.
we'll
Yeah.
factor into that. We're working to get that.
Okay,
I'm being mindful of that because I know just having a young child, you'll need something.
that's right. Yeah, that was the concern that I have. Don't use it all though, because you may need it. Heaven forbid, but.
Yep.
Councilman Williams, so we were just discussing the items that are on the agenda. That first topic, it's the second reading for disturbing the peace. Wasn't sure if you had any questions or comments on that.
Nope.
Okay. The second one was the resolution, so we're discussing the resolution to designate the acting city manager.
Okay. We're currently discussing that one?
Yep, that's right, we're open to discussion now.
Okay. I know it says we typically use, the city manager, assistant city manager, and then chief of police. I kind of have a few concerns just because of how much activity we've had over the course of this summer. Summer being, one of the highest times of crime and other things that take place. And just with the activity that we've experienced so far this summer, I'm kind of concerned in shortening the police staff, especially of chief. I don't know if anybody else shares my concerns or not, but
No.
I'm definitely kind of concerned, and I would like to see if we have another option to maybe address that situation. Just so we're not, like I said, shortening the staff. I don't think we need to do that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But luckily, we're not looking at doing this until end of August.
Correct.
So kids are back to school and hopefully things will slow down. But Chief Kip has done this before.
Many times.
Yeah. Yeah, so, he knows the roles and responsibilities. He's been able to time manage before.
I mean, just on that note, I know that Chief Kip has. My concern, you said August, how much time was you approximately? Do you know when your leave is in August? How long?
So my due date is August 30th, God willing. I'm planning to work up until I go off. But I will be applying, taking it away from, I would like to take 10 to 12 weeks, but depending on, I know it's prime budget season, so I may change that to, I know short-term disability allows you for 6 to 8 weeks, depending on your delivery method, and then I would look into intermittent FMLA, so I would come back on a part-time basis and, to assist with projects and budget preparations, but I would like to take the full time available under FMLA.
I mean, like I said, I wanted to discuss when a majority of people here so they can hear my concern. And she can't be here. She said she was here for a study session, a lawyer. My concern as well is that we don't need to, it seems like we don't need to take Kip. I'm concerned too, taking Kip away from all that is going on. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on last night, in my view. But I mean, because we thought we initially had Yvonne, which really plays a big part at that.
I would
that
fully support Chief Kip serving as acting manager. He served as interim manager several times. And I don't believe you're taking him away because he does have a chain of command. So he does have sergeants, lieutenants who are also in place to assist with the day-to-day operations. Per the charter, the other option would be our finance director. And with that, I'm hesitant to add the role of city manager when it is going to be prime budget season. That is his primary focus, as well as we currently do not have a deputy clerk treasurer. Someone will be joining, but then they will be joining, I'm not sure if it's beginning or end of August, so he will need time to spend with them to bring them up to speed on the projects happening within the finance department. And before this resolution came to council for approval, I did have the conversations with Director Mead, and he stated he would not be interested in serving in that role. So I would like to respect the wishes of our city staff. The reality of it is we're all dealing with multiple things. Our plates are all full. So I understand me taking my leave, it's going to be a burden on someone else. That's why I'm discussing it with my partner, my family, on how the length of time I want to take off, and that's why I would probably come back on an intermittent basis to make sure that things are able to continue to move forward. But I also have to be mindful and do what's best for me in my situation as well.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't want you to come back intermittent if you didn't have to like that. I thank you for doing that.
I also
Gracious of you.
I also think we shouldn't look at childbirth as a burden.
Yes,
I mean,
I think it is. I know
it's definitely a blessing.
it is.
Can we also look at maybe staffing someone from the MML to just see how that would look cost-wise and everything else? It'll give us another option, and it wouldn't necessarily put something on the plate of Officer Kip, any additional work on the plate of him and his staff.
It's also, it's an option. It's obviously up to the discretion of the council, but it will be, the reality, it's going to be more costly to go that route, as well as that kind of just stresses me a little bit more because then I don't have the time to properly spend time with this person coming on board to bring them up to speed on the projects and everything we currently have going on. Once we receive notice from Ms. Ridge that she has accepted the position in Eaton Rapids, I believe she sent that out to all of us at the end of June. We've already started kind of working with Chief Kip, bringing him up to speed on what has been happening and the projects going on. So it's obviously it's at the will of council to make that determination, but I would be a little hesitant to go that route just because I don't know how the turnaround time period through the MML to get that intermittent
Gotcha.
thing in row. But I can look into it if that's.
Do we have a end date for the assistant city manager?
Yes, I believe it's August 15th.
Okay.
Any additional comments on that topic? And then our last one, Councilman William, was the addendum to the city manager appointment agreement. So as it is, she's not accruing sick time, which she should be accruing sick time. So that's just to approve of that as well.
Okay. How much time are we looking at in total? Because what's this, 77 hours, right?
The 77 hours was what council had approved for the one-time rollover for this year only. As of currently, the city manager has 350 hours in PTO and I believe 150 hours of sick time accrued.
Per pay period, I believe it's 3.69 hours of sick time. That's standard in the employee our handbook.
Okay. Okay, I got you. All right, thank you.
Public comments?
So, I'm sorry. So what was that dollar amount? I was writing that you came up with. The dollar amount that he was asking me about
Or what?
Or,
for that additional on this, on the approval of the addendum to city manager employment agreement, the dollars and cents that would be to give you that additional that you're asking for.
That's just sick time.
The sick time, so it's just sick time that you're
Yeah,
asking
it's
for? Okay, all right. Yeah, but I'm asking how much those hours are. Yes. Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, public comment, we have one public participant. Public comment?
That'd be you. Remember the press. She's not the public, she's the press. I'm kidding.
All right, so we will hold off on the city manager's report. So are there any other council member comments? We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed. Yes. Jackson,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Study session adjourned, 6:45 PM. See you back in 15.